What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, you will, I'm sure, be surprised to know this, but I am way behind where I need to be. I don't even know why I'm so far behind. Why have I just not got any of this stuff set up? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like, I haven't got, like, my chat set up. Oh, man, what was I doing with my life? What actually was I doing? I think I was messing around with stuff. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome in, as always. We appreciate you. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll get into everything and anything, as always, here on the channel. There you go. There's the chat coming up. And we'll get into all of it. But do me a quick favor, though. Smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high. If it's the first time you've ever been here, then welcome in. And I hope you're all doing well. Just let me know. I had a bit of technical difficulties before I came live. So mic check 1, 2. If everyone can let me know that you can hear me all right, particularly YouTube would be good because, yeah, we had a little bit of a mic problem. Not a me mic problem, but a mic problem. You get my point. But, yeah, anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back, as always, to the channel. We appreciate you tuning in for our daily live streams. This one is a good one. Now, obviously, I'm going to say that every single time I come live, but I absolutely, truly believe this one is an important live stream. So we're going to dive into a little bit more around Ethereum. And now you might be thinking, oh, come on, 2-bit, no one cares about Ethereum. You've been banging this drum for a while, but it is actually important that we're going to dive into some stuff specifically on Ethereum. Now, there's a couple of things that have happened recently, so I'm just going to sort my life out here a little bit because, man, my desk is a mess. There's been some pretty interesting stuff happening recently over the course of probably the last 24 hours that I think is going to be important for later down the line. And I actually think Ethereum is positioning itself to be a bigger player in 2026. Now, when you talk about adoption, you talk about institutions, you talk about kind of the core fundamentals of this particular market, you always end up back at Ethereum. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into chart analysis. I want to talk about their upgrade that's coming. I want to talk about what people are doing, because remember, sometimes charts are not enough. We could say, well, the chart's breaking out. Ethereum looks set for a big move, right? It doesn't matter, right? I mean, it does matter to a degree, but fundamentals are the thing that's going to drive us way more into some of the key indicators that we want to look at. So you remember, we'll absolutely walk through some of the fundamentals. We'll talk about why it's important. Now, I don't necessarily think that ETH is the best player, by the way, and I don't necessarily believe it's similar to when you think about Bitcoin. If you are looking for bigger gains and you are accepting higher risk, then Bitcoin's not the player. And Ethereum, I think, stays in the same sort of narrative. What I do think Ethereum will do, though, is drive the market. And I think that's what I want to dive into a little bit deeper. Because if Ethereum gets institutionalized, then we might see some more upside moves. So this isn't me telling you to go out and buy Ethereum. This isn't me saying that Ethereum's the next big 20x on the, in the entire market. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we're going to dive a little bit deeper. We're going to understand why Ethereum is going to be such an important part of 2026. And if you truly believe that we still have the best of this market yet to come, then this is kind of where I want to get to. And these are kind of some of the things I want to break down. So as always, do me a quick favor, smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button as well, we are on our way, certainly for 40,000 subscribers, which will be super bullish. If you haven't already joined the Discord as well, I highly recommend getting involved. It's a super cool place. We have had a couple of new people join, etc., etc. Lots to talk about, lots to get into, and all of which I am pretty excited and bullish. Also, look out for this, by the way. Look what turned up today. Yeah, baby. So we officially have the Elipal new wallets, the Card Vault Simple Secure and the Elipal Titaned 2. So look out for that. I've got a review video coming for those two things. So that's pretty exciting because that's the first thing I've had sent to me, which is kind of exciting. So we've officially made it as cryptocurrency content creators. Okay, good news. So let's talk a bit about the charts. I want to get into just a little bit of the macro, and then we'll dive in and get into the kind of core fundamentals of what we want to talk about. So what's going on, Tomato Pete? Good to see you. Rod XRP, what's going on, buddy? Been a minute. Magic Craig's here. JFR, welcome to you as always. Silver Days, good to see you, buddy. Appreciate everyone tuning in as always. Zach, good to see you. Says all good. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, yeah, let's dive right into what is going on. And here we go on the BTC chat. So, again, I want to talk a little bit of macro stuff. Then we'll get into just a little bit more of the specifics. Now, normally I turn my TikTok screen around to see it, but I was watching a couple of other content creators and they don't. Like, are you guys bothered about looking at the chart? Maybe you are, maybe you don't. I don't know. So I'm going to not do it tonight, only because it's not as easy as it used to be to just kind of turn the can around. But if you are interested, then I'm live on YouTube at the same time as well. So We are still in play on this breakout, by the way, which I think is important to reference. We talked about this yesterday, and we are still in this trend, okay? We're definitely in this trend breaking out. Rebel says, is Canton bigger than Ripple? Canton? I don't think so. Some people were messaging me about that, by the way, yesterday. But this breakout is still very much in play. Now, we did actually wick up a little bit further yesterday. Broke 88,000 here. Did actually, unfortunately, come back down. No real reason. And actually, a sell-off on a Sunday isn't the worst thing in the world. We actually saw a pretty big sell-off Sunday. We may, though, it is worth noting, see a little bit more sell pressure coming in Monday morning. Remember, market's back open. We'll see how that plays out. We actually have seen a couple of sell-offs previously on Sunday. Not super crazy stuff, but we've definitely sort of seen a little bit of selling off. However, this breakout, in my opinion, is still very much activated, and we are still breaking this downward trend line from the all-time highs. You can see here that we talked about yesterday, this continuation to the downside that we are still breaking out. So look, we'll hold on to this right now. I think it's good news. Mike says, hello, 2-Bit. What's your thoughts on Nico? I put $100 in it. I own some Nico, in fairness, and yeah, I'm probably in a similar sort of situation where I'm like, hey, let's see what happens. It's been kind of doing all right. The team are working pretty hard on it, and it's a CTO takeover. So I don't know if you caught my video about it, but yeah, I'm similar place. I'm like, you know, like it's $100, $100 in it. You know what I mean? It's 100K market cap, gets to a milli. Happy days, 10x. But yeah, it's that's kind of where I'm at with it. There's not really a lot going on in the DeFi space. Everything's a bit quiet, but a lot of stuff is getting nuked hard, and we'll touch on a couple of those a bit later on as well. So this is kind of where we sit here on the setup. ETH, just out of interest, 29.31, still holding well within the channel, by the way, which is kind of good news. And I invest 5K at P-Stake, and it's down. Please suggest. I will. We do the DeFi in about half an hour. So yeah, we'll definitely take a look at some stuff. If you want us to look at any coins, let's do the first half of the show, then we're all over your bits. So stick around half an hour. We'll bring up any coin you want to look at, any charts you want me to take a look at. I'm all about it, right? Thoughts on Ondo has been just going down. Yeah, I know. Again, Ondo is a tweet or a partnership away, though, from skyrocketing, in my opinion, right? In my opinion. Moto, what's going on, buddy? So yeah, ETH, just for example, is holding up and sort of, you know, in a decent place. There is a whale that seems to launch. I'll find out who that is, Michael. I'll find out who it is. I know that, I don't know the team personally, but obviously I've worked with them for some content, so I will find out who that wallet is, and I'll let you know. Come back tomorrow night, and I'll tell you. So yeah, ETH holding up pretty well. Still below this 20-day exponential moving average, and I still think this yellow line on most of the charts are what we're looking at for that break. That's kind of what I want to see, right? That's the line I'm looking at, and I think if we can break this, I think we see some good news. Now, if you didn't catch my BTC video, I highly recommend going and watching it. It talks way more about the kind of macro sentiment that you need to be aware of and why we could see a pivot very, very soon. And if you haven't seen my XRP video, I would watch that. Banks, well, there's definitely an argument to say that they may be coming for XRP. So definitely check those two videos out. And as always, hit the like button, drop a comment, all that good stuff. Okay. So ETH holding up pretty well. The rest of the altcoin market, as the rest of the crypto market, is painful. All right. Down. It's nothing crazy. Zcash at 526 is freaking insane and still keeps moving it. I feel like you're absolutely top blasting the top. What's interesting, silver continues to print in the most insane way in the world, which, I mean, obviously this was market closed, by the way, but FYI. And we see kind of, you know, the rest of the treasuries in the pre-markets all kind of holding up. We will take a look at the pre-markets a little bit later on as they walk through, but the eyes are on BTC. We're looking for that close still around 88,600. For me, that would signal a little bit more of an optimistic move. Okay, Canton coin up again today, gently man and ladies. Okay, Daniel will take a look at it. Remind me in like 33 minutes, and we'll take a look at it. So I want to dive into a little bit more around Ethereum, but first, before we get there, I want to talk about why the markets could be good news for 2026. Now, I'm not saying categorically this is going to happen. There's lots of things that need to go right. There's lots of things that could go wrong. But at the moment, right now, you got US M2 money supply hits a new all-time high of $22.3 trillion. That's up 4.3% year on year. Now, why is this important? And how does this then play into what we were just going to talk about, which is obviously Ethereum? So again, understand a little bit about what this is. Injection of capital, release of funds, however you want to look at this, right? Essentially, yes, money supply is going in. The debate, though, is where is it going? And if it's not going to people that are going to invest in the crypto market or invest in stocks or invest in commodities or derivatives or whatever it is, then it kind of doesn't really make any sense. And it, more importantly, is a false narrative. People will go, well, global M2 skyrocketing. Well, if it's skyrocketing through China, or Russia, albeit we'll talk about them a little bit later on, it's going to be less favorable to risk on assets than if the US is printing, or the UAE, or the Saudi Arabia, or any of those particular countries, right, are starting to print. But essentially in the US, you are seeing an increase in monetary supply. This could be printing of treasuries, this could be yield, whatever, right? Essentially, we're seeing a little bit more, and it's increasing over the course of the last year, as we've seen. Now, some of you would say, well, we've seen this over the course of last year, and nothing's happened. BTC is down year on year. We're actually negative versus where we were this time, January 2025, coming into 96,000 or whatever else. So, but it is important to understand that liquidity coming into the market is everything, particularly for risk on assets. Stock markets, commodities, derivatives, futures, no one cares about that sort of stuff, right? If you're in a decent company and it's going to do well and it's in a data center, AI narrative, or any sort of service-based industry, then it's going to be fine, right? When you talk about cryptocurrency, it's liquidity that absolutely drives this market. And that's some of the key things that we need to understand. Okay, so let's dive a little bit deeper into Ethereum. And this will, in my opinion, tell us that this could be one of the catalysts for the 2026 bull market, if you assume a bull market's coming, okay? Because what do you need in order to see the markets rally? Well, you're going to need a narrative. You're going to need something for people to hold on to. It's not just going to happen because people will it into existence, right? There has to be a narrative. There has to be a shifting. There has to be something that changes. Think about it. Trump was the big one for 2024 into 2025. He ran on being pro-cryptocurrency. He ran on the fact that he was going to support Bitcoin. He ran on the fact that you never sell your Bitcoin. Like, that was the pump into 2025 for Bitcoin and crypto assets. So this is why I think Ethereum may well be that one to drive us into 2026. Now, before we get into the specifics of their new upgrade that's coming, and more importantly, what the previous upgrade did, it is important to understand that when you look at the macro, lots of stuff is going on. Ethereum whales are accumulating Ethereum at an absolutely aggressive rate of knots. In fact, if you look at the chart here, orange line is retail. It's a story as old as time. What's going on, Fairground? It is a story as old as time, right? It's like Beauty and the Beast. Ethereum whales are accumulating like lunatics. On the opposite side of that, retail and large investors are dumping their bags. So again, you can see here, look, the orange line is the retail investor. And we can see here from Ethereum that we absolutely are just seeing exit wallets at a sharp rate of knots. People are just totally dumping their entire Ethereum that I am sure many people have. I am one of guilt. I did it as well. I didn't dump my entire Ethereum bag, but I converted some into USDC. I converted some into some other altcoins. I didn't sell my entire position, but I definitely converted some of it. I still hold a pretty big position of Ethereum, at least like $200 or something like that. But as you can see here, that we've got retail is dumping. The purple line is large investors. So these are anything over like 1,000 Ethereum. These are chunks of change. And in fact, you can see there on the left-hand side, these are in millions of Ethereum. So we know BitMine, for example, now holds 4 million Ethereum. Like, these are big, big players in the space that are absolutely stacking as much as they can. Salamander says, what do you think of Canton or Monad? I like Monad, by the way. Canton, we looked at it yesterday very briefly. I need to probably look at it a bit more, as if many of you guys are kind of bullish on it. Remind me in like, let me do this first bit, 28 minutes, then we'll get into it. So yeah. So this is important. Again, retail and large investors. So what we are seeing here is that loads of people are buying Ethereum. Like, we're seeing big whales going to Ethereum. We're seeing large accounts. We're seeing treasury companies all starting to stack. Also, Ethereum's user base is starting to grow. Active addresses on Ethereum are now starting to print back to the upside again after the blow off top that we got back in November and October. If you remember, October 6th was the all-time high. We've then seen this kind of pushing further back down. So Ethereum's user base continues to grow with active addresses rising steadily despite ongoing market volatility. Very different to what we've seen with, say, Bitcoin or many others. Actually, on-chain data suggests that Bitcoin's strength is weakening, that people aren't that bothered. And actually, retail adoption of the wider crypto market is not there. Ethereum is bucking the trend as wallets start to pile in and start to use the network. And this is all going to play out when we talk about the latest upgrade that's coming very, very soon on ETH. So again, this is an important part as to how this all plays out. As we said, the last 2 days, Tom Lee's BitMine has now staked over $1 billion worth of Ethereum, and he's not slowing down. This is now over a 4 million ETH holding companies, which is pretty insane in fairness when you think about it, but they continue to stack so much Ethereum, it's almost insane. And actually, lots of people right now are incredibly bullish on where Ethereum is going to go. And the fact that Tom Lee is convicted in his words, then this should be pretty bullish. We all know that the ETH, ETF, staking, all that kind of stuff's coming as well. But actually the fact that he's sort of saying, look, I think Ethereum is going to break out. I think we could see 7 to 9,000, I think was his prediction. And yeah, 4 million is like zero in crypto. 4 million ETH, as in not dollars, 4 million ETH. Like there's not nothing. I mean, I won't mind being a few quid behind that. So yeah. So again, this is kind of why it's important. So not only is Tom Lee kind of going, hey, look, I'm super bullish on it. Bear in mind, he is like super below, super underwater on these particular trades. A little bit Michael Saylor, really. But again, he's super bullish on where it's going to go. And the fact, 4 million ETH. Yeah, exactly. Not $4 million, 4 million ETH. So like, I mean, God, what is, like, think about it. He just staked $1 billion of ETH. Come on, let's do maths with 2-bit. It is, so 4 million ETH, let's say 2,950, $11.8 billion. That's where he's at right now. So again, interesting enough, continuing to buy. Is he going to be the new Michael Saylor? Maybe. Like, he's going to top blast Ethereum all day long and potentially even push the price up. A lot of people believe that, the Saylor hype is important, which, by the way, we'll touch on him a little bit later on as to why it's important. However, what we can say is that he is blasting it. Now, there's a couple of things that are coming up that I think a lot of people need to be aware of. And this is, again, one of the big upgrades that's coming to Ethereum, the Hagota upgrade. Now, we talked previously about some of the recent upgrades that they had. So if you remember, their most recent upgrade was the, oh God, what was it called? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Someone help me out. My mind's gone totally blank. It was, come on, someone tell, what was the latest, like Shanghai upgrade? Was it Shanghai upgrade? I think it was. So again, they've now got another upgrade. You may have heard this. It's going to follow the Glamsterdam upgrade, right? So this is going to be all about Ethereum competing with layer 2s, competing with Solana, and in my opinion, albeit not broadly talked about, positioning themselves for institutional adoption and more broadly, the wider finance markets, okay? Do I think it's going to replace XRP? No, because I think XRP has that run on it already. But Ethereum's next major upgrade, which is currently expected to roll out in the first half of 2026, where everyone is positioning themselves to say, well, we think the first half of 2026 is probably going to be pretty bullish for the markets. TJ, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Yeah, it's super slow tonight. I'm not surprised. It's like the 28th of December, but sometimes that is just life, Fairground. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Drop us a follow if you're here on TikTok. We appreciate it. So again, this is important. Okay, well, let's talk about what it is and then how that potentially is therefore going to affect the broader market. So Ethereum's developers earlier this month agreed the name and rough timing of the network's second major upgraded schedule for 2026, settling on Hagota, the next milestone on blockchain development roadmaps. Okay, so before we kind of get into what it's all about, what's going on, Mike? Good to see you, man. Then the reality is we need to understand what it is. Well, simply put, it's going to be about handling more users. It's going to be about making things cheaper. It's going to be about working smarter. So we all talked about rollups, ZK Sync, blobs. We sort of discussed that, man, probably 2 years ago, I think it was, something like that. It's going to be more secure. And I think if you think of it in terms of like a car or road example, basically they're going to take a 2-lane road and turn it into a 3-lane road and put loads more traffic on it. Essentially, that's what they're trying to do. And this should increase usability, increase demand. I think this is where a lot of chains, kind of don't make it because they don't have a lot going through it. But I think it's important. Hagota will follow the Glamsterdam Ethereum next upgrade, which is currently expected to roll out mid-2026. The decision reflects a relatively new approach to Ethereum development, with core contributors aiming to ship network changes more frequently rather than building large numbers of upgrades to release that happen roughly once a year. And I think what's important here is that, well, the past upgrades of Hagota follows Ethereum's convention, combining a DevCon host city with a star name. In this case, the name derived from Bogota, whatever that is. And the Fusaka upgrade, that was it. Come on, people. We didn't realize what it was. But yeah, initial discussions have focused on the vertical trees, a newer data structure designed to help Ethereum nodes store and verify large amounts of data more effectively. So obviously we know that Ethereum's proof of stake, and we also know that there is a demand in terms of nodes. Remember, 32 ETH gets you a node on Ethereum. So what you're going to get is you will get the entire validator network that are going to try and compete to solve transactions, therefore making it super, super quick. It's the kind of idea, probably get blasted for this, but the kind of principles around things like Casper and, you know, some of the kind of broader, quicker blockchains where you've just got lots of different validators trying to compete to solve the same thing, as opposed to it being, right, okay, here is a block, mine the block, see where you get to, all right? Very, very different way of thinking about it. But I think the fact is that it's going to increase the usability and it'll increase throughput as well. They're also going to have things called guards, which essentially are validators which can't be broken, hacked, trained, cheated, whatever it is, right? It means that you've got a lot of set of rules on chain, which I think, again, is going to be really, really important. And especially if you think about how this integrates into broader markets, okay? If you really want to start moving billions of dollars around the markets, right? Let's say you tokenize ETFs, right? This is probably one of the ones that we think may come a bit sooner than most of them. So let's say you tokenize ETFs, right? How do you move that, verify that, and all the rest of it? Well, it needs to happen swift. It needs to happen in there. ETH layer 1, again, at low peak, it's fine. Like if things start to get super excited, then that's when fees go up. And no one's going to kind of do those when you can go to a layer 2 and do it way cheaper, or you can go to Solana. The difference is obviously the Solidity coding versus Rust coding. Now, it also does support millions of users. It's going to increase the amount of people that can transact on Ethereum. Again, why is this important? Well, you need it for banks, games, AI apps, and payment systems. And ultimately, you can run the world on this particular blockchain, barring the fact that, well, it shouldn't break. Now, so many people will kind of go, well, Solana this, Solana that. The fact is that everything's probably going to run on Ethereum. If they can scale layer 2s, they can get these upgrades pushed out, then I think this is going to be important, right? I think it's going to be important. And ultimately, big institutions will feel safer with Ethereum. It's a much more stable blockchain. You got lower fees for normal users. Imagine you can transact on Ethereum at the same price you can on Solana. Why is anyone going to use anything other than Ethereum? So I think the Haggadah upgrade is going to be really, really important. And I think it's absolutely aimed at institutionalized and tokenization, right? I'm absolutely big. You'll hear loads, I think anyway, just my opinion. I might be wrong. But I think you'll hear loads about tokenization in 2026. I just think it's going to be the big hot narrative, which is why someone put in there, I don't know if it was RPM or someone, about Ondo. It's why I'm probably still reasonably bullish on Ondo, Ethereum layer 2s, because I think they will all do pretty well, in my opinion anyway. So Haggadah is important to think about. You also have a very, very decisive 2026 roadmap, which includes validated risks that are bigger than you think. So the fragile shift to ZK-proof verification, right? Now, you will have heard this statement before on XRP, right? XRP has been integrating ZK rollups on their chain. So the side work they're doing is about Ethereum rollups, EVM compatibility, all of that. Essentially, the entire DeFi market is going to run on ZK proof, right? And I think this is why it's important. However, the scaling of Ethereum is going to rely quite heavily on this, which I think is important. So you've had a couple of key things. The Fusaka upgrade we talked about. Again, the blob parameters. So we touched on that, which is essentially the bits between transactions. They're blobs. Again, it's where layer 2s work. They kind of go into that. The second track is less mechanized because it relies on the draft EIP client implementation and validate operations that stay within decentralized constraints, including bandwidth, block propagation, and proving market structure. So essentially what they're saying is that you can't break the chain. You can't rewrite the code for Ethereum. You just have to work with what you've got. And this is where lots of this is going to do. A capacity ramp, which I think is important. So the ZK rollup should, in theory, allow you to still, with the same size block, but push way more transactional volume through, which again is important. Now, you'll hear a ton about optimism. We touched on that. Again, I find it the same as Arbitrum. Polygon, I think, is probably the same, where they're great layer 2s. On their own, they're a bit of a nothing burger, right? People might dislike me for it, but that's my opinion. I think what's important as well on the execution side, Ethereum is already testing higher throughput through coordination rather than a hard fork. They do not want a hard fork Ethereum. That would be bad news for everybody, right? No one wants a hard fork Ethereum, just my opinion. But again, this is going to be important. And it talks a little bit about where gas potentially is going to go to. Again, if it doesn't get to a layer 2, no one's going to care about it. The Glamsterdam upgrade was all about EIP 7904s. And again, a couple of others. Block access lists, builder separations. Again, general repricing. How much is a block to mine? How much is it going to cost you per transactional fee? And these are all important when you start to build out, when you look at it from a bank and institutional place. Remember, Ethereum is not going to be about building cool dApps. It's going to be about integrating stablecoin integration for the institutional and investment from Wall Street, right? Essentially, that's where we're going to get to. And I think that's why it's important. So the roadmap for 2026 is pretty much aligned to that. So we're going to get way more upgrades. ETH is a fork of Ethereum Classic. Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. They don't want to hard fork it again. So again, you're going to see the big publish in Jan 8th to Feb 4th, which will be all about what they're coming. You then get the next 26 discussions on finalization of it. Agoda is positioned for later 26, which again, we'll keep a close eye on. And more importantly, though, this is going to be a big, big upgrade in terms of scalability, safety. And I think, just my opinion, by the way, just my opinion, but I think at that point, you'll probably see some sort of institutional adoption of Ethereum. Just my view, by the way. Again, I could be wrong. So this, in theory, gives you an idea of where Ethereum is, and in my opinion, gives you a kind of flavor as to what's coming, and more importantly, how this is all going to play out. Now, when we take a look at the price of Ethereum, it's a bit down. I know that's the worst technical analysis you've probably ever heard me speak about, but at the same time, though, Ethereum is trending well within this range. If you go back to the early 2021, we are actually performing better than most. If you think ETH right now is down, what, 40% from its all-time high, Bitcoin, where are we at in terms of the move from all-time highs? Well, we're trading about the same, all right? So slightly below, about 31%. So in terms of altcoins, ETH has actually held up pretty well, and you could argue that it's holding up in this structure here. Now, where do we want to see ETH? I want to see it break back above this key line here. I do want to see us get back above the 3,000 range because I think that's important for Ethereum to kind of hold up that narrative. If we don't get there, then look, this is kind of where we come down. But as I said yesterday, it's less about the price and more about the broader market. Is the bull market here? Is the bear market here? Again, I think it's all there. 2Bit Crypto, best hopium dealer. It's so real. What? I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. I'm confused. ETH back tested, cup and handle, ball taps should rip soon. Well, RPM, a lot of people believe that's the same. And again, the key thing for Ethereum right now is it's holding between this range. And even when we've seen pretty aggressive dumps in the market, when we've wicked below, we haven't tested a lot of this key support. The last time we were here at the 200 exponential moving average, we actually got a solid bounce. We haven't been down to retest this range. So the debate would be, are we going to get there or not? That's the debate right now. I think broader market sentiment is going to be the one that tests us. And I think this will come over the course of this week. The important bit, by the way, will be tomorrow. We get Tuesday, Federal Reserve FOMC minutes. Might give us an indication as to where potentially we are going to go. We haven't got a lot of earnings data coming through at the minute. So the market's super boring. Like, it's just super boring right now. I think maybe if we get a Russia-Ukraine deal, that could be a good news story. But right now, markets are, in my opinion, just sat and wait and see what happens, right? And again, Ethereum, in my view, will be one of those that I think will move a little bit later in the cycle. If they don't, then the market just kind of falls over and we all just go to zero, then fine. We'll talk about a little bit more as to kind of broader market analysis in just a minute and why a lot of people are banking on a 2026 super cycle. Raoul Powell believes we're going that way. Tom Lee believes we're going that way. Michael Saylor believes we're going that way. Arthur Hayes thinks we're probably going to go there. Matt Hogan of Bitwise thinks we're probably going to go and see a big push up in the markets. You've also got someone else. I can't think of the name of the person. My mind has gone completely blank. But lots of people at the same time, Jeff and his Twitter account thinks we're going to zero. Like, it's fine. Like, people, Peter Schiff, he thinks we're going to zero as well. But again, I don't necessarily think Ethereum is going to be the biggest move in the market. I don't necessarily think Ethereum is going to be this absolutely skyrocket of 2026 where people go, oh my God, I can't believe I missed out on Ethereum. I should have sold all of my silver and bought ETH, right? Do I think we'll see this chart on ETH this year? Probably not. Do I think we could see a slow, continuous grind throughout the year? Yeah, potentially. I think we could definitely get that. So I think it's worth noting that Ethereum is one to keep your eyes peeled on, as I do believe there is lots of opportunity sitting with Ethereum right now. And I think this could be one of those coins that should push market sentiment, as I believe something like XRP will be the same, right? I think they'll give you a conversion from TradFi to DeFi, and I think a lot of people are going to look for it. So yeah, ETH is safe while JPM believes in it and keeps developing MetaMask. That's true. I mean, don't forget, there's a lot of stuff that's built on Ethereum. Like, look at the DeFi llama for ETH. It's pretty bullish. Like, there's lots of stuff going on there. I've always said, the big stablecoin market is the big driver. But look at this. You got $165 billion in stable coins. The actual chain is growing as well. Yeah, we got some, the sort of blow off top there from all-time highs, but we're starting to rally up. And actually, this is an increasing trend right now on TVL, on Ethereum. Like, it's gaining popularity and it's gaining momentum. And I think those are important. And what's worth noting here, by the way, on a lot of these Ethereum plays is actually what's moving. Aave, all right, I can go lend, stake, borrow, whatever it is. Lido DAO, staking Ethereum. In fact, loads of the big institutions, we know World of Bit Financial, for example, stake through Lido DAO. You've got Eigencloud or Eigencloud restaking, Binance staking, EtherFi, which again has got some insane things going on with it right now. Athena, that's doing some pretty big things. And in fairness, it's probably going to a more standardized market than we are actually seeing a lot of other ones. So again, lots of stuff happening with Ethereum. My view, keep your eyes on it. Do I think, again, it's going to go to $10,000 tomorrow? No, of course I don't. But I definitely think we could be in a worth noting play, in my opinion. Okay. Crypto is boring. Yeah, I know, MB23. But at the same time, all I would say is sometimes, right? Sometimes I would just be like, do you know what? Who cares, right? It is what it is. Don't get drawn into the daily movement and charts. Understand the macro side of things. Go and have a look and see what's coming. Because, yeah, do you know what the best thing for me was? Having those 3 days off at Christmas where I was like, I looked at the charts. I like to see what's going on. I stay reasonably plugged in. Not super crazy plugged in, but a little bit plugged in. And, yeah, it's nice. And you come back and you're like, right, okay, let's really understand what's going on. Let's get dialed in again and see where we're going to go. Catalina, what's going on? Welcome in. I'm a big fan, 2-bit. What about the crypto market? I am bullish on the crypto market. I'm bullish on it. We're talking about Ethereum. Don't sleep on Ethereum, in my opinion. Yeah, what do you think about XRP? Pretty bullish on XRP. Lots of good stuff. If you haven't seen my video, by the way, on my YouTube channel, link in my bio, talking about XRP and the banking system, I definitely would go and check that out, in my opinion. But yeah, I would absolutely look at what's going on with XRP for sure. Okay, let's talk a little bit more macro stuff, and then I'll take any questions. We'll take a look at some charts you guys want to look at and everything else in between. Sailor hinting he's going to buy some more Bitcoin. Now, interestingly, they actually hinted at buying more Bitcoin last week, but they didn't. They actually put it into what they call their Bitcoin Reserve Fund, which essentially I think is a bit of a siphon away so that if anything goes completely boom shakalaka, then they've got a little bit that they can do something with. So yeah, I think Sailor's been pretty tactful here, but watch out. They may buy some more top blast Bitcoin. I mean, what might happen though is we might see a massive dump on the back of it. So careful. Sailor might be coming in to buy more BTC. Now, again, this is an interesting chart, and I want to just touch on this really quickly. Titan of Crypto giving us a view here, saying that the HGF price action and momentum, right? So, again, this is important to understand that we need narratives. And if you don't have narratives, you don't have a lot, right? Which I think is important. So you can see that BTC is showing a sequence similar to Q2 2021 and Q1 2025. Structurally comparable price behavior, but with a key difference. Momentum is weakening. That's what we need to see change. Momentum doesn't change, people don't become bullish again, we're probably not going to see anything. And I think it's a fair assumption that that is where we are going to see. So, oops, in my opinion, worth noting, by the way, on this chart, what is going to be the momentum? Well, that could be the whole discussion we just had about Ethereum, in my opinion, right? What do you think about Web3? Is that just like a general question, or like, I like it. I don't necessarily subscribe to all the nonsense hype that people, like, oh, Web3 is going to build this, or we're going to be building like some cool, and like, I'm not a big fan of NFTs at the minute. I'm not really a big fan of like, collectibles on chain. I don't necessarily think that's a good idea, but yeah, I mean, broadly speaking, I guess I'm pretty bullish on Web3. So again, narrative important, all about reacceleration and confirming breakouts, which we talked about. Are there enough buyers in the market to keep pushing this market higher? Maybe. One of the other key charts that is worth touching on is this one, that this kind of aligns to the business cycle that if you haven't seen a couple of my videos, I've sort of broke it down. I would always suggest going and take a look about Raoul Powell, and he talks about this way more in detail than I ever will. But the ISM, the business cycle, all driven by liquidity. And the argument would be, well, look, we potentially are at the bottom. If you believe the bottom is driven by the business cycle, which is driven by liquidity, which is coming down with Fed rates and all the rest of it, well, we might be about to start to print a big move to the upside. When do we see this happen prior? Bitcoin bull market cycles, 2017, 2021, 2013, it all aligns. It all aligns. Just whether it happens or not. Do you believe in the 4-year cycle or the 5-year cycle? If you believe in this, you have to believe in the fact the 4-year cycle's dead. What do you think about the exchange? What exchange? What exchange? Is Web3 an exchange? That feels like an insane name if it is. Need to fill my new 2026 calendar with all the expected moon dates. Let's do it, RPM. I've got you covered. Don't worry about it. Don't forget, we'll be live streaming on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as well. if you are interested, make sure you join in. It's going to be epic. As always, we'll be breaking down the markets, looking ahead at 2026, and it'll be a fun stream as well. So make sure you tuned in. Same time, same place. I will be here. And by the way, if you are interested, grab your account at BITUNIX. They are a great exchange, and they are my exchange partner at the minute. We also have a pretty insane new 4th anniversary. If you are interested, check this out. Heading over there, they've got some pretty bullish stuff going on. Teslas, gold, USDT, all sorts of craziness. Again, heading over there. They are no KYC available all over the world. Check them out. Link in the description. Or if you're interested, jump in the Discord. Link on my bio as well. Check it out. What's going on, Rob? Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Centralized exchanges aren't safe. Yeah, you see, I have a different opinion about this. I do have a different opinion, because everyone that wants to spin a narrative, right? Everyone that wants to sound like they are the good guys, right? They say, hey, don't hold anything on exchanges. If you think that Coinbase, the most scrutinized exchange in the world, is going to steal your money, then don't use it. But I don't necessarily... Would I hold my entire portfolio in exchange? No, because that's crazy. But I wouldn't hold it all in one singular wallet. I would hold it, 1, in the Elapar wallet, and 2, in my Ledger Nano S as well. But I think you can have a proportion of it. Don't forget, you can trade 0 fees on exchanges. Like, it's way better than DeFi sometimes. So, yeah, I'm not super like, oh my God, don't have anything on exchanges. Just don't have your entire portfolio. That's my opinion, by the way. That's my opinion. Okay. So, again, worth noting here, potentially the business cycle starts to get pretty exciting. We need to stay close to this. I talked about yesterday. You'll be able to basically prove or disprove this by the end of February. So we'll keep you guys. Curious about Jake, but time is ticking. What will the apology be? Nope. Nope. Give me a clue. Well, that's a more larger institution. It's like Robinhood, even though they're somewhat linked to crypto. That's a safe place to have a crypto. They're never going bankrupt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you can just be, you can apportion it well, right? You know, again, if you're going to hold 100%, then, you know, that's insane. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. It's all good, Serge. Don't do that. But again, this will be important to see how this plays out. Worthwhile keeping an eye on it. Okay, that takes us through some charts. Let's get a little bit in terms of, his end of year predict. Yeah, it was insane. I was never going to get there. What did he predict? Like $1,000 or something. Sorry, I feel like I've got a piece of grape in the back of my mouth, which is annoying. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some broader news as well that we need to sort of dive into. So, World of Bit Financial is now proposing to use Treasury to boost the USD1. They're meant to be doing burns, and I've only seen one burn. In fact, let's take a quick look. I wonder if we can bring this up. Let me have a look. How much have they actually burned? Do we know yet? I haven't really been tracking this. What's going on, Alvin? Good to see you, man. Let's see if we can see this really quickly. Right, World of Bit Financial. Yes, this one. I want to look at this one. Let's bring up the blockchain. So if you remember, they said about they were going to convert a load of their stuff back into burning supply. Now, has it actually been burning supply? Well, we can take a look at this. So where would, I mean, it's not a good idea when you're already down to the top 50 holders and not one of them are burns, but Robinhood. Man, where is the burn wallet? Anyone know? This is going to be pretty annoying, isn't it? I don't think you can filter it, can you? Can I? Oh, here we go. Maybe I can search this. Did that do anything? No, that's kind of annoying. Do I need to not? All right, I can't find it. That's kind of annoying. That's kind of annoying. I was hoping we would be able to see the... I was hoping we'd be able to find the actual, like, dead wallet. Okay, so I don't believe they've burnt a lot, which is interesting. But anyway, the World of Bit Financial team has introduced a governance proposal to utilize a proportion of its token treasuries to subsidize the growth of USD1. Is it big news? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they have a few burn wallets. Well, if you burn it properly on chain, it has to go to a dead wallet on the Ethereum blockchain, which is like XO X0000000, then it says DEAD at the end. So it's a contract one, but yeah, I can't find it. So basically it's got less than $1 million in it in terms of burns. So interesting. I mean, is it a big thing? I mean, Will the Bit Financial is trading at what right now? 14 cents. Still pretty low down where it is. Not doing a lot. Volume's pretty low as well, but did bounce off this low range that we've got, you know, around the 12.57 mark. So maybe we get a little bit of a push. I don't know, but I'd like to see it push a little bit higher. Lots of people talking about Ethereum. I don't probably need to go through this, but lots of people are definitely getting bullish on it. I'm definitely in a world of seeing way more. Again, we talked about this. Look, TVL locked up, grow tenfold in 2026. That's the thing to keep your eye out for. Stable coins and RWA we talked about yesterday. So, yeah, lots of people right now are very much watching what's happening with Ethereum. The good news is you guys hear it here first, as always. Bitcoin, B-Jam in the building says, bull run or bear market, wondering about alt season. Can we look at RSR, possible to 10 cents? Also, can noise coin it to... Yeah, okay, give me 6 minutes and I'm all over it. Our assets deserve a better space. Can a person invest in XRP? Yes. How will alts do in Q1? So I don't necessarily think they'll do anything in Q1. I think Q1 will be driven out of a couple of things, right? I think market sentiment will feel better because people will think 2026 is going to be a big move. And I also think that you're going to get a broader easing in monetary policy and potentially announcements of new Fed chairs. So macro will feel a bit better. Alts don't care about that. So I think you're going to have to see a rotation back out of Bitcoin before you see anything. Personally, that's my opinion anyway. Do you hold XRP? Yes, I do. I hold it on a Nano S, which is good. Which is good. Yeah, right. Catalina, can someone ban Catalina? Yeah, don't DM anyone, all right? You know, don't start saying to people to DM you. Casey's on the case. Get him, Casey, if you need to. We don't start telling people to DM people in there. It's not a space where we need to be DM. If you're interested, by the way, you've got any questions, you're brand new to this market, hop in my free Discord, link in the bio, ask in the general chat. Don't answer a DM, don't do anything weird. Everyone's out to take your cryptocurrency away from you, right? It's an unregulated space. Be careful, please, all right? Don't DM anyone. I don't DM anyone. If you've got any questions and you're brand new, getting the Discord, it's worth it. Definitely worthwhile. Okay. Furthermore, ShareBank. Now, if you remember yesterday, I touched on this a little bit and I said, hey, Russia is starting to position themselves for a broader market adoption of Bitcoin. Well, guess what? We can absolutely say that that is the case. We can see ShareBank now is aligning themselves, indicating that they will be issuing loans to a local miner using cryptocurrency as collateral. All right. Is this the big pivot? Are we going to start to see China, Russia, and I talked about this in my update video, that these all now could be positioning themselves to come into the market at the perfect time. How do you know it's perfect time? If you say the market's near the bottom, generally China time the markets pretty well, so this could play out way more favorably and could see further adoption in this market. So one to keep an eye out for, certainly as we see more and more people coming into this market. So yeah, good news. Okay. That kind of takes you through the headlines. That takes you through a little bit of chart analysis. We'll get into all of what you guys want to talk about and any charts that you guys want to take a look at as well. We are here now for the next like 30, 35 minutes to talk all about the great things going on in this market. All I ever ask, smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high. If you're brand new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, I highly recommend hitting that subscribe button as well, which is bullish indeed. And more importantly, if you want to get access to our premium Discord or any more access to me, you can simply join our channel memberships. Head down under the screen, you'll see a button that says join. It's about $5 a month. Totally worth it in my opinion. Lots more coming with that as well. So yeah, get involved. I think it's worth it. Okay, cool. Right. Bitcoin BJam, let's get into what you want to look at. RSR possible at 10 cents and noise coin to hit 0.002. Right. Let's do those first. Seems as you dropped a $5 donation. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Let's bring it up on not this, on this. So RSR. Have we looked at RSR before? I feel like we might have done a while back. The reserve rights. Possible to 10 cents. I mean, is this coming from that same channel again, by the way? Possible at 10 cents. In my honest opinion, no. I mean, if this is the right one, by the way, come on, bro. Really? 10 cents? Feels very unlikely. Very unlikely. I mean, you're essentially getting back to March 21. Super crazy, mega bull market super cycle. Then I guess if we got that, maybe, but I think it's very unlikely. I think it's very, very unlikely. 160 million in market cap, and you've got 48 million volume. That's up 500%. So is this kind of taking a bit of a mover and groover right now, has it? It must have taken some sort of like push up, right? Why is volume suddenly skyrocketed? I mean, it seems super low in it. So yeah, I wouldn't be banking on that one at all. Just my opinion, by the way. Again, I am just a bloke that talks about crypto on the internet. And noise, you think, is what? 0.002. 0.002. So you believe this is going to break 2 zeros? I mean, that would be a price it's never got to before, and it's absolutely in a decline right now. So I would have to say no on that one as well. Now, again, I'm not a financial advisor, and on this channel is not financial advice, but sometimes you can kind of just get a feel for whether something's going to go somewhere. I mean, interestingly, it's on Coinbase, which is kind of wild. It's kind of wild, but look at all these exchanges that it's on, and there's just zero volume in it. None at all. Weeks. So what you can tell by some of these, by the way, these will just be where they've sent liquidity to these exchanges, and they just run them as market makers. I bet Weeks done it. AscendEX, they're a particular type of exchange. I'm not going to go too much detailed into it, but they'll just run market makers. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less, you know. So, yeah, I think there would be two very challenging coins, in my opinion. Very challenging coins, in my opinion. Hey, so I'm really confused. What will you do for XRP? Buy XRP more or hold? I'm not buying anything right now. My view right now of this market is I'm going to wait until 2026. I want to see a little bit more confirmation that this market is going to do what we think it is. I think so easy to dive into it, head first. Do I think XRP's got more upside potential? Yes. Do I think it's got broader market adoption coming in 2026? Yes. Do I think it's going to completely change and revolutionize how we look at the finance sector? Potentially, right? So do I think XRP is a good asset to hold? Yes. I would be sensible if I was looking to get into it. 185 right now, lowering trend, probably could come down a little bit further if we were to get market push downs. I mean, you may even get it tomorrow. If you're looking to invest, my opinion, by the way, is dial your way in, dial your way out. Don't just go full on. Here's all my entire portfolio. Boosh. Be sensible. What would you need to see before buying? Upward momentum breaking through key supports. I want to see 98K, 50-week moving average. Hasn't changed. I'm still in that place. So, because by the way, I think Bitcoin could rally to 98K. I think it could even retest 100K. Still doesn't confirm a breakout. Like I think people would be in a risk of getting trapped at that point. People are going to go, oh my God, BTC's breaking out. We're going to head to 98K. Like, this is it. I'm back. Because people are so desperate for it to break back to the upside. This is where sensible, logical thinking has to apply. And you say, well, I'm not doing anything until I see a breakout. Look at some of the key support range we have. Lower support right now from the previous momentum we had is here, right at around 98, well, between 98,000 and 100K. So this, for me, is kind of the key level that I want to see it. We can even put a little box on there for now. Because I think until we break that, it's a relief rally at best. And I think, I think that's the risk. So where do I want to see BTC break? I would say anything between that range is what I'd be looking at. So if we break this, I'm bullish. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, you can trade this momentum, no problems. You'll probably see this kind of volatile move around here. You can see this low range and what we've done in bar. Break above this, you break the 200-week moving average. This will flip back up. Lots of these will print bullish. You'll get a way bigger sentiment in the market. Like, here we go. But all of this, just in my opinion, by the way, all of this is just noise right now. And by the way, we could aggressively see this move quite quickly. Think about that sort of move. Where do we need to get to from where we are right now to the low range of that? It's a 13% move, right? 13%. Well, the bottom of April, before we then started to print to a new time high, think about it. We went in literally, 5 days, maybe a week. Let's actually do it. So 13% move. Yeah, in a week. So, we could see this like the end of we could see this the end of the first week in 2026. And all of a sudden you would go, holy crap, like this is like way more bullish than we said. Would you filter back in like small? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's the best way to do it, because then you allow yourself, don't forget, if something pumps 15% in a week, it's probably going to retrace 5% after it and chill out a little bit. But yeah, I think scaling in is the right thing. And I think the fact that, do you know what? I've got USDT. I've been saying this to you guys for a while. I'm like way more chilled. And I'm just like, okay, let's see why. Market structure is giving us loads of indications that right now, no one's doing anything. Think about it. Like, look, all you have to do is look at general market volume right now. It's way down. Way down. $15 billion on BTC through the weekend. Remember, the bottom of the bear market, the worst sentiment we have seen in the markets, we were knocking in 8 billion on the weekend, right? So we're not that much better than those. Ethereum at 9.4 billion. Like, sentiment is pretty low. Fear and greed at 29. Alt season absolutely just decimated right now. So I think it'd be easy to allow yourself to be like, oh my God, it's coming back. Here we go. What I would say is, yes, we've seen a break of this trend. Brilliant. Let's start to see a bit more of a print back to the upside. They're the key things I'm looking at. That's what I want to see this market do a little bit more. Got to take into account potential silver short sales coming. I'll be watching. Yeah, 100%. We'll look at the pre-markets in a minute. The thing with I talked about this in my update video. I think personally, it's just my opinion, I think the silver pump right now is a manufactured pump. People are like, I literally had some people DM me going, you are insane. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just another one of these wannabe YouTubers. Maybe I am, right? Maybe I am. I don't know. But I think the silver pump is manufactured. Definitely. You've got China that is now restricting exports of silver, right? They are deliberately, in my opinion, pushing the markets. I talked about this in my update video. Look at what is used to, like, look at what silver is used to make. Chips. It's meant, like, just, in fact, Elon Musk himself was like, hey, like, this is not great news if silver continues to, like, skyrocket up. But, you know, like, there is so much stuff that is used for silver. Think about it. Think about it. Like, this is kind of where people, I think, don't realize. And I think it's a manufactured thing. Cars. It's also used in things like chemicals, like AG, the chemical symbol. I bet you guys didn't think I knew that. So there's loads of stuff that silver's used for. Like, I think, so I think it's a manufactured move, by the way. And I believe I will be proven right. Dominoes have started to topple till. We'll get a reset. Well, I mean, we'll see what the pre-markets. In fact, can we see the pre-markets? Oh, I've got it here, actually. I've got it here. So we'll look at that, by the way. But yeah, I think it's a manufactured pump, just like gold was. It doesn't mean it's not going to keep going higher, but just my opinion, right? Just my opinion. So yeah, let's close that. And I just think it's highly interesting that you have China now starting to deliberately restrict exports of silver, and all of a sudden it's skyrocketed to new all-time highs. Like, come on. Is Bitcoin Cash heading to an all-time highs? Looks kind of bullish. And thank you for another $5 donation, man. I appreciate that. Bitcoin Cash. Now, I was pretty bearish on Bitcoin Cash. If you remember, I think you brought this up before, and I was like, no way, bro. Bitcoin Cash going no freaking where. Now, I still think it's way down from where it was. Obviously, all the hype of 2017. I remember seeing BCH then. But you know what? The argument now in the market structure is, yes, it's starting to push a little bit higher in the market. Now, you need it to go a bit higher. Confirmational breakout will be around 714. That could give you a push to maybe a higher range. You'd even argue it might even push towards 800, maybe even $1,000. So right now, you would argue that, well, yeah, maybe BCH is starting to do something. It needs to break out. Oops. It needs to break out, in my opinion, though, above this range, around 700, 715. That's what I'd be looking at. You want another $100 on top of it. But I think Bitcoin Cash should be a good indicator of whether alts are going to move. So yeah, would I be all in max 5,000x leverage long on BCH? Probably not. But I think for some of the coins that we've talked about here, it actually looks okay. It actually looks like it might get a little bit more momentum. So yeah, keep close to it. That'd be my opinion. Might end up being good news. Crypto Max, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Kevin's here as well. What's going on, Kev? Good to see you, man. Well, it's all a finite supply. That's true. Manufactured rise or not, it's about what it looks like. We could still see a short squeeze, which could cause liquidations of assets even in crypto. Yeah, 100%. I mean, we could see a gigantic dump like we saw in gold. I think it's unlikely in the short term. And I think at the minute, you've got a demand for silver aligned to a restrictiveness. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty interesting one. Do I think it's going to dump this week? Probably not. But I do think that there is a risk attached to it. There's definitely a risk attached to it. You're essentially top blasting the top of silver. So, yeah. BCH guy came from Ripple along with the Vitalik and Justin Sun plans within plans. Yeah, it wasn't Roger Ver a big person with BCH as well, I feel like. Do we need silver to fall for BTC to rise? No, not really. Not really. And I don't necessarily subscribe to the rotation of capital theory that because commodities are skyrocketing, that when they come back down, this capital is going to rotate into Bitcoin. It's like, why? Why would it rotate into Bitcoin? I think at the minute, just no one's interested in risk on assets. Why? Because you can get into risk off assets for the same sort of potential rewards. And again, if you look at the narrative right now in the media, everyone's like, oh, Bitcoin's done. It's over. It's going to zero. Like, yeah, if anything, you're a bit like, well, let people kind of believe it is. And then slowly catch your monkey. That's what it's all about. So is that true? It probably is, actually. I feel like Mercury is as well. It's a monopoly towards the point they want it to go. Institutions are having their pre-sales. I mean, that's probably not a bad choice as well. We're definitely seeing accumulation at an institutional level. Now, we are seeing outflows, but I mean, interestingly, Solana, XRP, still seeing some strong inflows. Okay, pre-market data, just if anyone was interested, by the way, Dow down a little bit. S&P down, not anything super crazy. NASDAQ, the Russell looking like it's down. What's interesting, look at this. Hong Kong Stock Exchange looking like it could open up. So we might get a nice little move into the Asia markets. Shanghai looks like it could open up pretty bullish as well. So maybe we get a bit of a move in. The FTSE looks like it's going to be down, albeit marginally. So you're probably not going to get much of a move in the market. Where it is a little bit interesting, unchanged on commodities. So everyone's a bit like, ooh, where are we going to go? That's the big question right now. Let's see if we can get hold of silver futures and see what they look like, just out of curiosity. Silver futures, here we go. So, wow, bro. What is that all about? Look at this. Sorry, I'm just repositioning the, there we go. Let's put it there. But let's do that, and let's do gold futures as well. Gold futures, here we go. And that is not what I want to see, actually. Hold on a minute. Yeah, perfect. There we go. That's what I want to see. Right, let's just put this up here. Okay. So, really quickly then, let's take a look at gold futures. Look at this. Look at silver futures. Like, holy crap, 7.6%. Like, people are thinking there's going to be this absolute move on silver. Like, you could just get, like, the craziest move tomorrow. Like, it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. Backwardation being rife on spot and futures this week. So, basically, gold and silver is taking the money away from BTC. Well, not really. Not really. Because, like, think about this way. I don't necessarily think, because retail was the bigger driver of Bitcoin and crypto, right? But right now, people are just driven by FOMO. Like, they're like, oh my God, silver's going to be the biggest thing in the world. Like, no one cares about gold. Remember, we had to wait a week or two where everyone was like, gold's the big thing. Now it's just kind of settled and it's kind of pushing back up again, right? New all-time highs, all the rest of it. So I think at the minute, people are just absolutely top blasting these. You know, the fact platinum's moving, and you have got, in my opinion, a manufactured short squeeze. So yeah, I mean, look, futures are opening pretty bullish on gold, up at 1%. Silver looks like it's going to open up strong as well. So, you know, a little bit of a CME gap building. You might get a push down on silver. The market open, maybe it pushes down. I think Asia will buy silver, though, if I'm dead honest. But we'll see in like 2 and a bit hours. Markets will open, and that'll give us an idea as to where we're going to go. But, you know, I think whatever metals rally, fair play. People will always rotate eventually, in my opinion. If silver doesn't pull back at 100, why not 200 next? Well, that's true as well. Japan rates are the same, yeah. Yeah, I think you've got some Japan economic outputs this week, but nothing crazy. Spread on commodities is crazy right now. Yeah, it is. Really is wild, actually. It really is wild. I mean, they've got variance right now. Close at 10 and nearly 11% up. Open at 7.6 on the futures is pretty big for silver. So, yeah. But yeah, and then other pre-markets look pretty flat, in fairness. We get the VIX looks like it's going to print a bit of volatility. So, yeah, I think, you know, Asia's probably going to come in reasonably flat. European markets probably stay flat. The only thing you get is whether we get any kind of outlying news, which I don't believe we've got. And there's no earnings coming into the new year. So none of that should be in a world where we, you know, where we see kind of just a random dump in the market. That being said, who the hell knows? You know what I mean? We've seen way worse happen in this market. But yeah, that, interestingly enough, will certainly be a view when the market opens. But we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see. I mean, look, we all want crypto to go to the moon. It's just whether it will or not. In my opinion, like, sentiment for Bitcoin right now is terrible. No one cares about it. We talked about that before. Like, no one gives a monkeys about crypto right now. You know, and we've been discussing this for a while, by the way. We talked about consumer sentiment yesterday. We talked about actual just, you know, sentiment in the market. Like, don't forget, there was a recent poll done, and I think this is another macro bit that I think people need to be aware of. I heard this stat today. Let me see if I can just pull this up, because I thought this was interesting. Interesting. Maybe it is this one. Yeah, so yeah, last update 28. Okay, so this is another reason why I think you're seeing lots of people go into gold and silver. Lots of people right now are starting to believe that Trump's economy isn't great, which, I mean, it depends what side you sit on with this. But yeah, 342 days into Donald Trump's term, the president's net approval rating is negative 17%, down 2.5% since last week, 39 approved, 56 disapproved, specifically on the economy. And this is important to reference, by the way, that actually a lot of people believe his economy is not good. People don't feel like things are cheaper. Yes, gasoline's down, eggs down, blah, 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 blah. But look at this. From where he sat to where he is right now, there's a lot of, massively disapprove on inflation, massively disapprove on tax and spending, massively disapprove on jobs, immigration, better, national security is kind of there or thereabouts. So, the fact that he has talked about it, and even in his most recent statement, if you look on here, let me see if I can pull this up as well. Like, his entire narrative have shifted. Like, he's got to pump this economy, which again could be another reason why, we may end up with a massive 2026 cycle. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of the, this was his Christmas message, wasn't it? Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Look, what we do have is a record stock market and 401ks, lowest crime, no inflation, a growing GDP, 4.3%. Tariffs have given us trillions of dollars in growth and prosperity and strongest national security we've ever seen, right? The whole narrative right now is they need to pump the markets. They need to pump the stock market. They need to pump the economy, because otherwise he runs the risk of losing the midterms. That's the reality of it. So that's why I think you've got a lot of people going into metals. You've got a lot of people doing into that. Why? Because they're nervous. Like, they're nervous that, this is kind of going to end up not being a good thing. And again, you look at the White House narrative right now. Core inflation is the lowest levels. The golden age of American energy. Like, everything is now economy. Like, yeah. So we'll see. Like, I mean, this could be a good news story. It could end up not being a good news story as well. Like, he needs to absolutely push this market hard. And the midterms, yeah. US economic growth strongly outpaces other nations despite tariff hysteria. 2025 will forever be the year Trump took American borders back, which, fair play. Like, but I think that's going to be the big one for me. That could be the reason the markets pump. It could be the reason the market dump. We're not actually going to see a lot of this data play out for at least the first 2 weeks, probably. The first stuff we'll get, I mean, we'll get the FOMC minutes on Tuesday. That could be pretty interesting. It'll only give us a view of sentiment and how many believe we should have gone 50. We'll get the dot index as well, which I think will be good news. So, but outside of that, we're not going to get a lot really until probably the second or third week. PMI data will be interesting. Whether that's going to show growth, I don't think so. I think that could be February by the time we see that. You'll see those prints a little bit later on. When we start to get into probably second and third week. So here, look. So we start to get jobs data coming in. We get core inflation coming in on Tuesday, Jan 13th. That's going to be an important day. CPI as well for December is going to sort of print. PPI comes in then on Wednesday the 14th. So it isn't until sort of the second week of January that we will actually start to really get a view as to where this market's going to go. And if you get bullish data, great. If you don't, then that's sort of where we end up sitting in my view. Oh my god, precious plastics unavailable. Shizzle. Yeah, I know. Just FOMO into precious plastics. Maybe that's the answer. We're in a Trump dump slump on crypto. I mean, that's probably true as well. Metals are not a quick rich play. 100%. They're essentially, why are people going into them? They're generally a hedge against inflation and the weakening dollar. Why do you have weakening dollar? Because you print money. Yeah, exactly. Cryptovarious, absolutely my sentiments as well. Like, literally, that's my sentiments in a statement. Spread on commodities so high and a big risk, I'm not touching the market right now. Agreed. I've got a couple of long-term holds that I'm just like, yep, cool. I'm not buying anything. I'm not trading anything. The only thing I'm sort of doing is in and out of a few meme coin DeFi players. That's about it, really. Nothing else. Nothing super crazy. Just sit tight, wait and see what the market feels like, wait and see what the sentiment feels like, and wait to see what the data tells us. And, you know, there's no risk right now. Low volume, trading sideways, in a spread, in a range, sorry. All right, cool. We'll see if this breakout plays out. If not, then, you know, we could see this drop back below, and we could even see it retest below the 86,000 mark. So all eyes on market opens tomorrow, in my opinion. We'll see. We will see. Is the Tom Lee of precious plastics? Oh, dear me. Listen to the Arthur Leffer interview on impact theory, best macro discussion in regards to the USA. Arthur Leffer is an 85-year-old economist that helps Reagan grow GDP at 12% in 18 months. Wow. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. I'll listen to that tomorrow. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but hey, it sounds bullish, and that's important. That's important. By the way, if you haven't already hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, please feel free to do so. You guys have been very quiet tonight. The chat rate, by the way, is at 1, which means you guys are really not chatting too much, which is fine. It's fine. I'll just talk to myself for like, you know, this whole kind of hour. But yeah, don't forget as well, if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, I highly recommend do it. We put content out every single day. If you are interested in that kind of thing, then this is the channel for you. And we appreciate your support as always. I feel like a hunter sitting around in the ghillie suit searching for confirmation. Yeah, exactly. I feel exactly the same way. Thing is, it's good to know that it's like, right, I'm positioned, I'm ready, we're just waiting for that confirmational breakout, because right now, this isn't enough for me. This is not enough for me. Macro headwinds, still not enough for me. I mean, I don't know what the sentiment is on ETF for tomorrow, but I want to see a little bit more confirmation in this market before I do anything. And like I said, I'm not in a rush, like, we'll see. Where is expectations sitting for ETFs? Ooh, shit the bed. That looks pretty painful tomorrow, doesn't it? Man, 2,200 out of iShares. They look like that might be tasty tomorrow. So US markets might end up tasty. Let's see if they, let us see. Here we go. Chopping veggies, garlic, and ginger, bro. Nice, Tim. I like it. RPM's full sending it to the max. So, yeah, this is probably what we want to see as well. Are they going to start shipping loads of stuff to Coinbase? We'll keep an eye on the wallets. Obviously, this was a lot of Bitcoin heading to Coinbase. We'll keep an eye on what's going on here. So, yeah, if you are interested, stay plugged in. We'll see if they start moving some Bitcoin. As it stands at the minute, BlackRock are not moving BTC. But what was that? 78 million? Let's just work that out dead quick. 78 million divided by, what was the price? 86,000 is 906 BTC. So yeah, so you need to see a bit more. Yeah, so there's a fair old chunk, wasn't there, going round? Let's put it like, let's put it in. Oh, there we go. Yes, this must have been 12. Yeah, it's like 100 million. Yeah, so that was probably nearly the kind of sell-off that we saw Friday. I just found your channel. You got it down and subscribed. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hey, we'd love to have someone like you in the Discord as well. Feel free to grab that link. It's free to join. So, yeah. What's your name? 2-Bit Crypto. Or Mike is my actual name. So, if you are, you know, if that helps. RPM floating through the holidays. Yeah. I'm cruising. RPM, you're wild. Wild, bro. Okay, got a question. Hit us with it, Tim. If you guys have got questions, let me know. Turbo. Yeah, of course I can. I'm down for looking at some DeFi stuff. It's a pretty painful market out there right now in the whole world of DeFi. I've not seen a lot going on. In fact, I've not even seen any super mega hype stuff going on right now, if I'm totally honest. Let's have a look. Turbo. Where's it at? I haven't looked at this for ages. $117 million market cap. Oh, bro. So look. In fact, let's do the 3-day chart. I think the 3-day chart will give us a bit more of an idea as to where this is. Yeah, pretty painful right now. I mean, we talked about Turbo before, didn't we? We said if it didn't break this line here, if you remember, we were discussing this back in early part of 2025, you know, bull market cycle. We said if it doesn't break this, then it's going to Goblin Town. It looks like it's gone exactly to Goblin Town. So yeah, that I would certainly not be looking to get in there. I mean, maybe it makes a big recovery. I will never forget the fact Turbo FOMO'd Coinbase, though. In my opinion. In my opinion, by the way. I've got loads of empty balls. Get out of here. Get out of here. Marbit's weirdly still holding up. Don't ask me why, but it is. Look at that. Someone bought another 71 bucks of it. Whatever this wallet is, E33D. I mean, yeah, not the idealist of greatest of tokens, but hey, keep your eyes peeled. If you are looking for anything, you know, maybe you want to just take a look at this. Bosh. Again, when this market turns around, get ready. If you're not already plugged in, I would suggest being plugged in. Check out wreckrabbit.com for sure. See what's going on over there. Very bullish. All right. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. I watched this as well, Tim. This took an absolute beating today as well. Like, Cent got really sent, which is lots of big selling on this one. I don't know how big the pre-sale wallets were, but yeah, some pretty big dumping down here. I saw some big wallets exiting this play earlier on. But I mean, if you time this, like, you might be all right on it. But yeah, again, I said yesterday, maybe look for the bottom on this one. When as soon as we can get alt season, maybe I'm living in fantasy land, just wanted alt season. Well, I mean, if we get a Bitcoin move early, like basically January, February is where it'll define what the market looks like, in my opinion, right? Yeah, I mean, look, I get that, Tim. I think if you get a strong move in BTC, January, Feb, aligned to some of the more macro data, ISM, for example, Fed rates coming down, all of that good stuff, then alt season could end up being sort of March, April, May time. It all depends. The bigger question right now is, do you believe 2026 is bullish or bearish? Because you won't get an alt season without a Bitcoin move. So one of the key things, I think, look at this. Lots of expectations of a 0 rate cut. So no more rate cuts to the start of it, which, you know, isn't particularly great. We don't get one in February, then into March. So you could already miss the kind of bigger opportunity within the market in the first 2 months. So yeah. What do you think is one coin I haven't looked at yet? Just saw it recently. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it at launch. I kind of like it. I think it's a good idea. There's a lot of good stuff about it. The only thing I think that hasn't really landed very well with it is the broader ecosystem that's going to be built on it. So, you know, DeFi plays, all the rest of it. Yeah, Monad, good launch, Coinbase backed. You'd absolutely expect it to do pretty well. I haven't checked the price recently, actually. Where's it at right now? It is at 2 cents one. So yeah, I mean, it kind of bounced back a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, it's not launched. This is the problem, Mike. It's not launched in the greatest of times ever, actually. Rallied up really aggressive, which was all to do with the cliff of token unlocks. And then obviously you got unlocks. So for me, it now needs core utility. I mean, look, it's listed on Coinbase. It needs its kind of big DeFi space to come out, but you need the market to move, the meme space to move. So there's lots of cool projects coming at it. I actually have been lined in with a project called Atlantis, which is pretty interesting. So they've got a big perp dex going onto Monad. Like anything, adoption is going to drive everything. So, you know, hopefully they get a bullish move on it. Hopefully they get some more positive news coming out of it, which, you know, should align to a bit more favorable move. So yeah, hopefully we get there. But yeah, I do like it, but it's a bit like Aster, isn't it? You know, perp dex on BNB. Is it doing anything? No, it's at 71 cents right now. It's not great at all, but you know, where are some of these going to go in this kind of move? That's again, the bigger, broader market is the market going to pump or not? One of those that comes to life with liquidity. Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, it'll be a little bit like things like Optimism. You know, ETH upgrade may support a bigger move for Monad. Not that they're directly linked, but when people start to use it, when people start to use on-chain, I mean, if you look at, let's look really quickly at, let's see if we can see some, I just want to try and compare some stuff. I don't know what, I was going to try and see what you had in terms of a comparable. So on chain, as in like how many are using Ethereum, how many are using, I don't know if we can see this. So daily users of ETH, Solana. Oh, maybe I do know where I can see this. Oh my God, I'm such a noob. So we can see this here actually, can't we? We can see daily usage of this if we add in a metric of, let's go to ETH. I didn't mean to do that. And what do we need to look at? Let's add a TVL back in. I mean, I guess we can kind of see it by stablecoin market cap. I thought you could see it in terms of actual users. Oh, that's kind of annoying, actually. Oh, we can use it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we can do transactions, actually. That's fine. So we can see transactions as a measure of chain activity. So you can see here, if we do it by the week, actually from an Ethereum standpoint, let's get TVL out of the way. You can see that on-chain activity is actually starting to move up when we talk about ETH. So, you know, you could argue and say, well, ETH is actually seeing on-chain increase. We could do the same here. Transactions, get rid of TVL. For Solana, now less protruding. And this is probably aligned to the fact we're not seeing any sort of craziness in the meme coin space. So Solana actually is probably being used less than Ethereum, which again is why I was super bullish at the start. Bitcoin, again, we'll see what that looks like. Active addresses is probably the one we can see. We actually have a decline in people using Bitcoin. So, you know, I don't think we can get, what else can we get on here that'll be good? Sui is one that I believe is going to be an interesting one to keep your eyes peeled on it. Let's see if we can get, I mean, we can get net inflows maybe. Is that going to give us a bit of an indication? So, you know, a little bit more going in. TVL is coming down on Sui. So I actually think Sui is pretty undervalued in fairness, but just my opinion. Just my opinion. And, you know, Avalanche is like a disaster right now. This one is just like, bro, like what happened, Avalanche? This should have been crazy. What's important to reference, though, is you are seeing a little bit of uptick. So the argument could be said that we are seeing a little bit of build-out adoption, but nothing super crazy. So, yeah, my opinion anyway. Need an interactive stream elements? Yeah, that would be pretty bullish. I'm just trying to beat stream elements and say it. Oh, man. This is off topic, but any thoughts on fintech space? Do you invest there? Will there, with them invading the crypto space like SoFi and Robinhood? I feel like there are some good places in there. I have both. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a bigger debate about the AI narrative, isn't it? I'm not going to profess to be like some super macro trader because I'm not. Like, I'm all in the crypto market. I used to trade a little bit on stocks or the FTSE 100. Nothing super crazy. I was always about dividend shares as opposed to anything else. So I just want to kind of just put that out there. I'm not like some super, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I am because I'm really not. I think I'm very knowledgeable on the market. I'm very good at macro versus micro. Look, I can read a chart. I can trade where I need to. I'm not saying I'm, you know, some sort of hero, but I think the whole AI narrative is going to be the big one. It's a self-fulfilling doom loop to a degree. AI will make businesses more profitable, particularly in fintech areas. And I think what you'll get is an adoption and a exposure to a degree of riskier assets, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, all the rest of it. Do I think the two come hand in hand? Maybe a little bit. I think Clarity Act is going to be a big one because I think at the minute you've got a lot of exchanges and probably a little bit in terms of fintech that are screwing the markets up, in my opinion. So, yeah, I don't necessarily think it's bad to have exposure to them, just my view. But, yeah, I think AI will be the driver of what that looks like, personally. I think we will see more volatile market this coming year. I'm kind of predicting a false bull market starting to the bear market early mid-year. Well, I mean, that would play out the narrative that, similar to my view, really, that, yeah, because if you think about it, if Bitcoin started to do this, right, and we started to rally up, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, like, here we go, 98K. Everyone's going to go, yeah, bull market's back on. Here we go, baby. Let's do it. And everyone could be then like, you know, leverage or compiling back into the market. Everyone's going to go freaking long on Bitcoin. And then that's when, if we don't have the Clarity Act, you probably end up everyone getting wrecked. And I don't think the market could stomach another $1 billion liquidation event. I don't think it could. I think that would end a lot of things. So definitely think it's worthwhile. And equally, as longer the year goes on, like if Trump really is pro Bitcoin, pro crypto, like he needs to get the Clarity Act through, because if he gets to midterms with some of the stuff we've been talking about and they lose the midterms, then a whole shit show could come in potentially for the crypto markets. Equally, we could see way more bullish sentiment coming as well, but difficult one to call, I think. But yeah, it just needs to get cracking and get this put through ASAP. My opinion. So frustrating. Lost a ton of money waiting for alt season. None of my coins pumped. Bitcoin, BJAM. Look, I'm the same boat. I rotated out of like my riskier, I guess, sort of, how would I describe it? My non-important core holdings of like Ethereum, few of the other like altcoins I was holding. So Aethia, for example, I sold that. What else did I sell? Sui, I sold that. Again, I was in a world where I thought I could buy back cheaper on Sui. I'm US if you're down, but convicted. Selling for a loss and buying right back in could be good for taxes. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens in the UK. All I know is if you look at my exchange accounts right now, they're showing huge losses for last year. I mean, I am the worst cryptocurrency holder in the planet. So, yeah. Feeling everyone is capitulating. Yeah, I mean, look, you're probably not wrong, in fairness. Yeah, the I'm fine meme is great. That absolutely epitomizes exactly where we're all at right now. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm still bullish. I'm still holding on. For dear life, I'm holding on, bro. Oh, my God. Yeah, never a true word has been said, actually. My guess is they're going to call the tariffs unconstitutional and revoke them because of this Congress. And I think they're going to lose. The midterm is pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, loads of people think they are going to revoke tariffs. I just don't believe they can. I mean, think about it. Like, what is the benefit? Other than you can say, well, we were right and Trump was wrong. Like, genuinely, what is the benefit of revoking the tariffs? I don't know. Whether they... I know people say, well, it's the rule of the law. And, you know, man, some of the shit going on in all of the globe right now, you can argue it's unconstitutional. You can argue it's not grateful. Morality is not... Like, the fact is, no one cares, right? People should care, by the way. And I'm not saying they shouldn't, but, man, it is like... Yeah, I mean, look at the tariff revenue, for example. Like, this is where I think Trump's going to play a bit of a blinder. He's going to try and do, and we were sort of debating this last night a little bit. He's going to try and use in stimulus checks aligned to the tariff payoffs to try and leverage against the Supreme Court that they don't vote against it. Yeah, when has Congress? Yeah, exactly. The only reason why I think that might end up not being a thing is because it's probably not going to go into the pockets of certain people or certain groups of people, and maybe they don't like it. But yeah, I don't believe that they may want to. They may want to one-up Trump. I just don't think it makes any sense that all of a sudden you're going to have to repay out, what is it, like $30 trillion? What's the potential tariff payback? Under the US Constitution, why you have tariff refunds now? Let's see what it is. Oh, 150 billion. That's not the end of the world, actually, but yeah, it would be pretty painful. But they would lose all the potential investments because obviously, this is the other thing as well. You like go, well, it's 150 billion in potential repayments. Like, who's going to actually then go and build in the US? They're going to be like, nah, bro. Like, oh yeah, all that trillions of dollars that I committed, nah, going somewhere else. Going somewhere else. The cycle destroys crypto investors' confidence big time. Yeah. Oh, big time. Yeah. Which could then tell us that that's why the bottom's potentially in. When market sentiment is at absolute lowest, then Ethereum, then potentially that's when people should be looking to accumulate in the market. It's not financial advice. Never is on this channel. Just my opinion. Okay. I think the problem is that they can't revoke the tariff because that would be handing power back to Congress and giving it to... Well, yeah, true. And like I said, a lot of the expectation of investment would disappear. Like, why would they build cars in the US when they go build them in Mexico and it's way cheaper? Like, you understand, corporate and capitalism doesn't care about feelings. It cares about money. So, yeah. No, he really only has less than 1 billion in tariffs. He just says that crazy number. Is that what it is, yeah? Pretty wild, if you ask me. Pretty wild, if you ask me. Good. All right. Where are we at? It is... Oh, man, it's nearly 10:15 for me. So, yeah, super quiet live stream tonight. I don't know where everyone was. Like, TikTok, we never got above about 15 people, which is kind of insane, really. And even YouTube was pretty quiet tonight. So, lots of people getting ready to celebrate the end of the year. Don't forget, I'll be here every day this week, bringing you all the latest in the markets. And again, chatting with you guys about what potentially is coming up. So if you're interested in all that kind of stuff, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell to all. That way you indicate, that's what you're told actually when I go live. Government doesn't like crypto because it challenges the dollar, but to a degree, they don't have a choice. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We know the fact that the tariffs get revoked, the stock market is going to pump like crazy, and the crypto market could follow because everyone's going to have all of this money. Yeah, but it's, well, maybe. I mean, the argument would be, though, that you would probably go into stocks. The stock market will pump, by the way, because people will be able to make things cheaper. But yeah, I mean, will that mean that crypto's going to do something? I don't know. Probably not. But you'll probably see it rotate out of it. Canton coin. Okay, I'm gonna look at it now. Is it called Canton coin? Yeah. It is searching. Canton coin. That can't be the right one. I'm gonna look at it on CoinMarketCap. Did we look at it yesterday? Coin. Oh yeah, we did. We did actually. Canton. There we go. There we go. Just for you before I go. Man, up 15%. Bullish. Yeah, that is full sending right now. Look at that, $42 million market cap. $4.93 billion market. Here's the problem I have a little bit with this though, is like, if you bought now, like to get a 2x, that's got to get to what? $8.5 billion market cap. It's like, give me a low cap meme coin any day of the week. Let's see what it does. Kanta might be a good one for the next year, fitting my new coin narrative. I'll definitely take a look at it for sure and see what it's all about. 2-bit people are trying to compare that to XRPL. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know too much about it, in fairness. I will definitely take a look at it, though. I've literally clicked it. It's open, though, so I'll have a look and see what it's all about. Good. Without tariffs, people have more money to invest, either stocks or crypto. I mean, that's true. That's true. If you believe the narrative that tariffs have driven prices up, which, I mean, it's hard to argue against it when you look at CPI and PPI data. But anyway, that is that. As always, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget, like and share. Make sure that people know that we are here dialing into this market, trying to keep everybody locked into what's coming. If you want more of that, again, hit the like and subscribe button. Don't forget, turn the notification bell to all. And as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. And we will be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. in the UK. Don't forget. And yeah, until then, thank you so much, everybody. I am super bullish on you guys. As long as I can still get my chocolate milk and gummy bears, I'm fine with whatever. Yes. Crypto Various, what I would say is, welcome to the channel, man. You've been an absolute legend this evening. So thank you so much, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. You have a great day, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Ta-ra.